idea, of course, is to score political points, and he readily scored that. And
but what were the mixed feelings of Nigerians then that made the federal government to do away with the toll gates?
Nigerians were actually lamenting that monies were siphoned by those who are saddled with the responsibility of
corruption,
collecting the toll gate fee. That is one. And then security operatives were using the toll gate to also make arrest and harass commuters. You know, security operatives are always at every toll gate, and mostly when commercial vehicles come, they get being harassed by security operatives at the toll gate. So a lot of people felt that with the dismantling of the toll gate, there won't be further harassment by security operatives. That is one. And then secondly, the corruption that has come to greet the collection of fees from the toll gate will have gone forever. That were usually what people were happy about. People at a point in time felt that they were simply giving out this money and the money is being siphoned into private pockets. But again, with the removal of the toll gate by Obasanjo's administration in 1999, people heave a sigh of relief. Not because they are not satisfied with what the money is being utilized for, but simply because they felt that here comes a relief from all sort of extortions that came with the toll gate. So Obasanjo scored a political point, like I have said, because that came with a roaring applause from the generality of Nigerians. But again, when the toll gate went away, we saw what happened to federal roads. They went into dilapidations. So many of those roads became nearly unmotorable. Sometimes when you see a particular road and you are being told this is a federal road,
your #1 station, 91.7 Prestige FM,
recognizing the existence of this road.
Despite budgetary allocations
and all of that. So you discover that the government have no option at the time because the burden was so much on the government. In view of competing demands before the government, federal roads were about the most neglected. And then when Buhari came in, he embarked upon also reconstruction of certain parts of the federal roads. We saw the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and then we saw the Shagamu Road, and then we also saw the Benin Asaba axis, and then we also saw the Port Harcourt roads. And then so many other roads were penciled down for reconstruction. And these were basically one of the focus of the Buhari's administration. We also saw the Kano-Abuja road, even though that has still remained uncompleted. But the Kano-Kaduna axis has already been completed. So you can see that with this quantum achievement in terms of road rehabilitation and reconstruction by Buhari's administration, this administration felt that there's a need to bring in the toll gate. Don't forget that this administration had borrowed money left, right, and center, just replicating what his predecessor has done too, borrowing money left, right, and center. And this is the time to pay back those monies. And the federal government needed to generate income by whatever way it could generate. And therefore, the reintroduction of the toll gate by the Federal Executive Council at the last Executive Council came on. And some roads were penciled down. Most of these roads that were penciled down were mostly roads in the southern part of Nigeria. And this is also to tell you one of the drawbacks of the Buhari's administration, to show you that his area of focus of road reconstruction at the time was majorly in the southern part of the country. Northern part of the country was largely neglected by the Buhari's administration.
Despite outcry coming from stakeholders in the zone.
Exactly. And this readily should tell you that Buhari's administration had largely not been keen in maintaining roads in the north. Apart from the Kefi Akwanga and Kano to Abuja road that were reconstructed in the north, nearly all the road constructions were done in the south. You can see the Lagos-Badagry road, the Lagos-Ota road, the Enugu-Port Harcourt road, and then the Shagamu-Benin road, the Onisha-Owerri road, and then the Benin-Asaba road, and so many other roads that were rehabilitated by the Buhari's administration. You know, And most of these toll gates, I'm afraid, will have to remain in the south for now, because the federal roads in the north have largely remained unkept, and therefore there is the need for the government to pay more attention to rehabilitating and reconstructing the roads in the north. We saw the Minister of Works who walked into Niger State sometimes last month, and he flagged off the rehabilitation of the road from Sokoto to Abuja. We hope that road too will be adequately rehabilitated, and then probably justifiably the federal government can come with a toll gate. But as it is now, there will be no justification to put toll gates on federal roads in the north, except those areas that I have mentioned earlier.
Okay, so the reconstruction of this toll gate will affect only the other parts of Nigeria without the north.
Only some few parts of the north, like Abuja, Lokoja,
okay,
and then Kano, Kaduna.
Just 2 or 3 of it.
Yes.
What happened to the northerners in power then? Why didn't they champion the cause of reconstructing or rehabilitating some of the major roads? You know, we had instances here in Niger State during this gridlock that met the Bidda roads, whereby the locals there were calling for those high truck roads vehicles to be paying some certain amount of money for them to at least patch some parts of the roads.
Yes.
What is really happening? Because the Niger State in particular is the major link between the southern parts of the country.
Yes, we must continue to show our encomiums to the then governor, Colonel Ngodebi, who embarked upon the reconstruction of that road. He worked assiduously to ensure that that road is in good shape. And when the Bidda Mina Axis Road was given a toll gate, nobody complained, because then you can move from Mina to Bidda within 45 minutes, at most 1 hour. And the road was fabulous. The road was fantastic, and hence, even when the toll gate was there, nobody was complaining. And you can see that when you have good facilities and the citizens are benefiting from those facilities, nobody will be reluctant to pay tax. But where you don't provide services and you want to milk the citizens, this is where the lamentation will come. So I believe that this administration should have done its homework by now to ensure that those roads that they are thinking of erecting toll gates are in good shape. Because if they are not in good shape and commuters are complaining and lamenting about the bad shape of the roads, there will be a lot of frictions when it comes to payment of toll gate fees. Even though I believe the fees are not much, we see just 200 naira, 300 naira for vehicles, smaller vehicles, and then buses, and then 150 naira for commercial buses, and then about 500 naira for articulated vehicles. So even at that, I believe that it will still come with lamentations. But you know, these roads have been concessed to companies.
Okay.
So companies will own these roads, use the toll gate to generate revenue, use same revenue to maintain the roads, and then pay the federal government what percentage is agreed upon.
All in a bid to stem out corruption from that aspect.
Exactly.
But giving the private sector the responsibility of managing these roads, we had a series of incidences here and there on the public-private sector partnership, how that particular agreement might fall out not favoring the Nigerians.
Yes, you know, Buhari attempted to do it sometimes, I think in 2018 or thereabout. But something went wrong somewhere, and the whole idea was shelved away, because at the time there were so many things that were happening in Nigeria. The issue of insecurity that was worsening by the day, issues of wanton corruption that have greeted members of the cabinet of that administration, issues of borrowing, you know, so many other economic retardations that have characterized the citizens of Nigeria at the time. So, you know, then the government was listening and was reacting according to the dictate of the feelings of the citizens. And that idea of erecting toll gates and concessing the roads to private entities was shelved, and until when this administration now comes in. for every road that has been concessed, a lot of Nigerians now will want to see services.
Definitely.
Services, not just the good shape of the roads, but other services such as smaller cottage hospitals by the roadside, smaller fire service stations by the roadside, smaller restaurants and places where one can ease himself. And then some other smaller places where motorists can go in within few kilometers to buy one or two things, probably come back and maybe maintain a car that may have developed fault or something like that. So these are some of the facilities that go with roads. When you concess a road to private entity, it is not just about collecting money. It is about providing services. Services beyond the smoothness of the road. There are other roadside services that should come with that agreement. I wouldn't know if the Federal Executive Council have taken cognizance of all of this. If they have not, and I think this is the first lacuna that we are going to see. Because if you are concessing a road to a private entity, that private entity should be able to provide these facilities. Small cottage hospitals in the case of accident, so that accident victims can easily be evacuated to some of those nearby or even mobile hospitals that may have been provided by the company that is controlling the road, including restaurants, including places where you can ease yourself. These are sometimes even lodge accommodations can be provided. Smaller lodge accommodations can go with the restaurant, so that motorists who appeared not to be able to meet the next town because of the lateness of the time can easily lodge in those places and pass the night, and then they can continue their journeys the next day. So this is what is done everywhere around the world. But in our own situation, I just hope that some of these things will be provided, so that on the long run, we should be able to see a much more formidable road that can cater for all of its users.
How about the security aspect of it?
Yes.
How safe? Because then some miscreants used to utilize this toll gate in creating havoc to the communities nearby.
Yes, this is where you also need to have vigilant cameras. Cameras ought to be erected and nearly everywhere on those routes. And you should be able to also have a control room where you have situated all of your televisions that are taking the input of the cameras that you have mounted. So you realize that this is what is done everywhere around the world, and that is why you see if anything happen, within few minutes you see the interventions coming in. If it is a car that has gone faulty or went on fire, intervention will easily come. And sometimes even if it is some kind of hoodlums or such as kidnappers or any that have come on the roads, they will be seen by the control room, and information can be sent to the next toll gate, so that they can stop the motorist from moving ahead. And these are the things that have been done. Intelligence gathering will help motorists to move smoothly on the road, because security operatives will also be at hand in strategic places, so that whenever there is a kind of insecurity on any portion of the road, the security operatives can be mobilized to go in there and nip the criminals in the bud.
All right. 090388088883 is the number to call in. Of course, make your comments, or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. And we're streaming live on our Facebook page, Prestigefm91.7mx, and on YouTube, Prestigefm91.7mx, and of course on radio app, prestigefmradio.org.ng. We are talking about the reintroduction of toll gates by the federal government. What is its benefit? How do you feel about the federal government reintroducing toll gates in some major highways in Nigeria? Okay, let's see. Okay, 090388088883 is the number to call in. Of course, make your comments. But doctor, how can the communities within these toll gates improve their economic well-being?
Well, a lot of commercial activities can be going on, especially around the toll gate vicinity. Motorists, because of the manner in which the toll gate is erected, will slow down to pay the fee and then continue with their journey. And by that exercise, so many local community commercial activities can take place. Motorists or commuters or travelers can easily buy one or two things before the vehicle move on. Some even may want to have a stopover at the toll gate to do one or two things, and by so doing, transactions can take place. So a lot of things can happen for the communities around the toll gate. It has happened in the past when we saw so many people within the communities making bumper commercial activities around the toll gates that has been erected in their communities. And even for the federal government itself, that will mean taking one burden off the government and creating business opportunities, creating job opportunities for many Nigerians. The companies will have to employ Nigerians. It is Nigerians who will man the toll gate. It is Nigerians who will man some of the value chains of erecting the toll gate, such as all of those commercial things that I have mentioned. If you run a restaurant on the road, it is Nigerians that will be employed to run the restaurant. If you run a public utility such as a toilet, it is Nigerians who run the toilet. If you run so many other things, including even private firefighters, it is Nigerians who will come in to participate in all of that. So it will be a source of employment to many Nigerians.
Okay, 0903-880-8883 is the number to call, and of course make your comments, or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Who do you have on the line?
It's Mohammed from Guanila.
All right, Mala Muhammad, make your comments.
Introducing the target into the federal government is a good idea. So as Dr. Ntala just submitted, especially even this Gida road, because of maintaining the road. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Supporting this move by the federal government to introduce toll gates on some of our federal roads in the country, saying that it is a good move coming from the federal government. 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Federal government said to reintroduce toll gates in some major roads in the country. What is your take on that? How do you think your community can benefit from these projects of the federal government? Okay. 0903-880-8883. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Auntie Memuna. Good morning, Professor Dantala. Good morning, this morning.
Good morning, sir.
I see the Messenger Salag Abdul Hadi photo from Magwamtane Boso. Introduce of we talk it back again. Corruption is going into this country. Mr. A collect the money, then Mr. B collect it back. This is not what you want. Any money they are going to generate should be used so that people know where their money they are paying in toll gate, where the money is going. That's what concerns us seriously in this country. Why we are saying I'm saying this because of corruption is going on in this country. Thank you, I rest my thought. Thank
you very much. Calling for proper utilization of the revenue which will be generated using these toll gates for people to feel the impact of the government. 0903-880-8883 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. Or you can post your comments on our Facebook page, Prestige FM Mina. That is Prestige FM Mina. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Dantala.
Morning.
Good morning, Madam Memuna.
Morning, sir.
This is MDL from Papungu.
All right, sir, make your comments.
Dr. Dantala, federal government will introduce a toll gate. Honestly, Dr. Dantala, did you know people, Nigerians are not even having faith part of this administration, honestly. Because a lot of things, if they introduce this toll gate, Dr. Dantala, people are, it's just as if they are creating a forum for people to siphon another money, honestly. Because you know why people are not even having faith part of this administration? Most of the policies being brought by this administration is not what even as like the Nigerians want for now. So at any time the government want to initiate a kind of other program or any policy, let it be what people want. But that is one thing that this government fails to understand. Let them initiate what will benefit part of the masses, not what the government wants. If they introduce this tollgate, Dr. Dentala, sorry to say honestly, it's just as if they've created a forum, honestly, for them to for people to siphon this money, because nothing tangible will be kept from the covers of the government. So it's just a forum for them to siphon the money. That's my take.
All right, expressing his mixed feelings.
Yes, this issue of siphoning the money, I think, is going to be a thing of the past. There is what we call e-toll. E-toll now is an electronic toll gate where you can just come and pass by, and by a kind of a sensor has been installed on the toll gate that takes either the plate number of the vehicle or some other kind of thing that may have been installed on every vehicle that passes by, so that as you pass by, the toll gate will take in your plate number and the registration details of the person who owns the vehicle, and the money will be deducted directly from his account. And just an automatic thing. As you move in, just like a credit card, as you move through the toll gate, the vehicle number is taken by the toll camera, and then it sends the signal directly to the computers, and then the computer scout for the details of the for the name and details of the person on whose name the vehicle was registered, and then the money is removed from his account. But it's a simple thing.
It is not. Nigerians are very talented.
Well,
apart from...
the white man is equally talented, because if you feel that you will come with a fake plate number, then the toll gate will not open. Once the camera couldn't capture your plate number, the toll gate will remain closed. And you cannot pass by.
But don't you think it might be a subject of litigation against the government, because it's more like deducting something that Nigerians didn't sign for?
Well, it is done everywhere in the world. In South Africa, for example, about 81% of the roads are the ones that are free. 19% of federal roads are toll. So only 81% of those roads you can pass free. The remaining 19% are toll, and they are e-toll. And they have been concessed to private entities. So these private entities have installed their cameras and all other electronic gadgets, such that when you pass through, the money is deducted quietly without you even feeling the heat. So it is about you coming up with an adequately registered vehicle. The plate number has to be registered, and that is why you don't borrow anybody your plate number again. Because if you borrow somebody your plate number and you pass through the toll gate, of course, it is your account that will be deducted.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Who do you have on the line?
Good morning, doctor.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir. This is Comrade Jondanu Sabala speaking.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. You see, doctor, this is a good policy as far as I'm concerned. But the problem is Nigerians will take advantage of it and exploit people, I mean. You know? But the way you have just said, if it's going to be computerized, that once a vehicle just passed, then automatically the computer, the job whatsoever see placed on such plate number, I think that would be a good one. I could recall during 2011, when we were in university traveling to Lagos, we passed through Okene to part of the Lagos. There was a village that we reached. They had to stop us. Just that we are students, and the citizens or the residents in that community have to stop our car and ask us to pay a sum of a particular amount of money before they open a gate for us to pass through that road. So you see, this is a good thing. Somehow, that community, they are generating revenue for their own community to develop some of the problems they are having in that community. So if this will be expanded to the larger part of Nigeria, for me, I think it's a good thing. If proper monitoring will be taken, and they will stop all this corruption and people that will use it as a means for their own survivors, it's going to help Nigerians, and that will be a good thing to increase the IGR of the Federation. So I so submit and agree that if they are going to do it diligently, that will help Nigeria, is a good one, and they should go ahead and do it. Thank you. I remain comrade.
Thank you, comrade.
You know, the federal government is also right now constructing the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Already it has been said that once that road is completed, what will be collected will be 3,000 naira per vehicle. So you can articulated vehicles. Rather. So you can see that there is already an outrage because people felt that the roads will be too expensive to actually plight on. But you know, these are ways in which government usually generates revenue. But in whatever way, it shouldn't be also exploitative. And we'll continue to fold our arms and watch as things unfold, more so now that the purchasing power of an average Nigerian is very low. And if the federal government is coming up with this, then definitely we should be in for a much more tighter situation this time around in 2025.
From all angles. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Hajia Memuna, good morning. Dr. Tantala, good morning. My name is Ambassador Gebu the Challenger. I'm calling you from Tudun Fulani.
All right, sir.
Dr. Tantala Hajia Memuna is a very welcome development, but I want them to implement two policies. Number one, in anything they are doing in all these toll gates, there should be what we call, they should do it with decorum. Then secondly again, there should be what we call monitoring and evaluation, so that corruption will not take place there. Because you see, at the end of the day, light will not come at the end of the tunnel. So there should be monitoring and evaluation, and they should do it with decorum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabu the Challenger. Some comments on our Facebook page. Babak Arami. Okay, good morning to you. Abdullahi Ayo Chukudi, good morning. Those who were supposed to champion dilapidated federal roads and mostly toll gates, we are waiting for monthly FEC to cash out and change it to dollars and of course. We hope this set of northern politicians should learn to look inwards and not being too selfish. Governance is for the people. Abdullah Ayo Chukudi, thank you for that comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Who do you have on the line?
I'm Umar Usman. I'm calling from Barking Sali.
All right, Madam Usman, make your comment.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Make your comment.
Hello?
Go ahead, we're with you.
Okay. Sheikh Usama Gaya, the introduction of toll gates in Nigeria is a good idea by the federal government, and it should also serve as a development for the country. Thank you, Sheikh Usama Gaya. Hello, good morning. Morning, sir.
Good morning, ma.
Morning.
Dr. Lentela.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to say it in public. Already and automatically, Nigerians are thinking of how to beat it. After the program, use your phone to Google. You will see a lot of how the process was beaten. I'm telling you. It is man-made, and it's still going to be the same man that will create another way to succeed. Diversion has always been another opportunity or another option for people to do. So one way or the other, if it has come to stay, we should also have a rethink to believe that, yes, there are people that will be responsible, humble, and obey.
All right.
Take it or leave it. Already, I want to tell you that people are thinking of how to beat it. Use your phone. You also understand that the same process has been beaten. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aliu, Nigeria, a country with good planning but lack of sincerity and corruption is really damaging the system. Introducing toll gates is not the problem, but I hope it won't end up in some people's pockets. Aliu, thank you. Junaidu Bello Agwara, this is a good plan. May Almighty God grant them the opportunity of actualizing it. Thank you, Junaid Bello Agwara. Umar Azimi, e-toll is also a good thing, but remember the allegations raised by Honorable Gudaji Kazauri on the issue of stamp duty, which I believe is also electronic. We all know how the money ended up in some people's pocket. I stand to be corrected. Thank you very much, Umar and Azmi, for that comment. 0903880888 is the number to call in, of course, make your comments. We are taking a look at the reintroduction of toll gates in some major roads in the country by the federal government. What's your take? How can you benefit or otherwise from this reintroduction of toll gates in the country? Hello? Hello? Okay, 0903880888 is the number to call in, of course, make your comment. Umar and Azmi made a comment on our Facebook page saying that what Gudaji Kazauri talked about on stamp duty, it has come to pass. So the issue of toll gate, hope there shouldn't be corruption or diversion of these funds generated, despite private sector or private entity taking care of this particular initiative. Doctor?
No, I didn't get that.
Okay, I said a comment just made by Umar Azmi expressing his mixed feelings or his reservation on the allegation on stamp duty made by a former House of Reps member, Gudaji Kazauri, on stamp duty, which has come to pass. I hope we're not having a similar incident in this initiative coming from the federal government.
No, I don't think so, because if you look at it, this present administration is looking for a fund, and hence it is creating more ways of generating revenue. One, to serve